What do you call a mosh pit at a Disco Dazzler concert? A clusterfunk. I am here to razzle dazzle you in this Comic Book Editions Volume 189 video. It's going to be an All Dazzler haul this week, which I'm very excited about, including a Dazzler-themed AOK unboxing from my friend, Michael Acri. Thanks for stopping by, and let the show begin. Our opening act is a poster. This week, Marvel is releasing the X-Men 130 facsimile, of course the first appearance of Dazzler, and the cover to that issue, which is one of my all-time favorites, was released earlier this month as an official Marvel poster. This was a dream come true because it's one of my favorite images. I remember several years ago, All Posters was offering this image kind of on a manufactured on demand basis where you could get a legal poster of it, and I was toying with the idea of maybe getting a huge canvas print of it, but it was quite expensive. Well, now I have this poster that I've always wanted in 24 by 36 at an affordable price, I should add. This was released earlier this month by Marvel. Literally a wish come true. You might remember I had a Dazzler poster, the Art Germ Dazzler poster that was released last year that I showed in my Comic Book Editions Volume 121 video. And I'm excited to say that Marvel has already solicited for a Dazzler #1 poster, which will be coming out in June. It's kind of my plan, maybe, to frame up all three posters and have them one on one side of the wall next to a window and the other two on another wall. And then I saw some really cool disco balls at Five Below that I thought might make a cool accent if I got those and hung those, maybe at different levels too. So I know many people are clamoring for me to get some stuff on my wall behind me. And I don't know if the Dazzler posters will end up behind me, but I'm kind of saving a place in my apartment for those to get all framed up. So once I get that third one coming out in June, maybe that's something I'll do. And if I do, and it doesn't end up on the wall behind me, I'll make sure to take a photo and share that here on my YouTube channel with you. So the X-Men 130 facsimile that came out this week, we have a 1 in 25 incentive variant, which I have pre-ordered, and I'm just waiting for that to arrive. When that does show up, I'll be showing that in a future Comic Book Editions video. There's the regular facsimile, there's a foil version of the cover, and I have both of those pre-ordered as well. Unknown Comics has an exclusive. I haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet, but I bet sometime in the future I will. The only thing that kind of disappointed me was no blank sketch cover version. I really wanted that. I was going to buy several of those. And with, of course, the eventual goal of getting some Dazzler sketches on those. So I thought for sure that would happen, but I didn't see it solicited. So if you ever hear of an X-Men 130 blank sketch cover variant, maybe it will be a store exclusive somewhere. Make sure to let me know because your boy wants one. Continuing the All Dazzler haul is the first book that you might say, what the heck does this have to do with Dazzler? Let me explain. Marvel Team Up, Volume 1, Issue 108. This was published in 1981. Herb Trimpe doing the artwork, including the cover art. Dazzler appears on the very last page of the story. And of course, she's the guest in the entire issue for 109. And I've had 109 since I was an original childhood collector. But Spider-Man and Paladin, and I am so not familiar with Paladin. I know that he's not even a C-list character. He's like a D or E-list character. Very unknown character. I've known of her appearance in this, but she only kind of appears on the very last page. But I finally decided I wanted it for my Dazzler collection, so I pulled the trigger. I have all of Dazzler's, every issue of her solo title. So I always thought, would it even be possible someday to do an All Dazzler haul video? But I've always wanted to. But this kind of does tie into it because Spider-Man and Paladin are fighting this villain named Thermo, which I believe is his first appearance in this issue. And on the last page of the issue, they're battling Thermo on a building across the street from the theater where Dazzler is performing. And she hears the commotion, and she finishes putting on her makeup, which is part of her costume, to go investigate. And then that leads into Dazzler being the Team Up superhero for the next issue, 109. So that's how this kind of does tie in to Dazzler. There was a connection there somewhere. What I'm about to show you, kind of the next several books are really cover buys. I have wanted this one since I first saw it solicited. So it's X-Men Legends, Volume 1, Issue 1. This was published in 2021. And it's a J. Scott Campbell exclusive from his website. Obviously, he does the art for this. All the colors on this cover are so rich. And the beautiful image of Disco Dazzler with Longshot was one that I couldn't pass up. And I literally watched this on his website for quite some time. They had where they have like the quantity that's available, and I kept watching the numbers dwindle down. And then it got into the single digits, and I thought, if this sells out, there will be FOMO. And so I ordered it. And right after I ordered it when they said they had like 5 left, so my purchase made it 4 left. Then like a day or two later, like they reset the stock volume, and I'm like, oh, it's back up to like 50 more available. And I guess I didn't need to buy it as quickly as I did. But X-Men Legends, Dazzler's not in this issue though. Kind of really, it's untold stories of the X-Men from the past. And this issue really focused on Scott, Summer, Cyclops, and Havoc. The 2 brothers were kind of the focus of this issue. It was a decent read. It reminded me a lot of the X-Men cartoon. Of course, I am loving X-Men 97, like the rest of the world, and the comic book fans on the internet are loving it as well. This, as for a Dazzler cover, one of my favorites. Now, I'd love to see this as a poster sometime in the future if anybody's listening. If anybody of influence is listening, I should say. But happy to have this in the collection finally, after watching it literally for 3 years. Here's something a little bit more modern that just came out last year. This is X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023, Issue 1. This is a one-shot comic book. And a Stormbreaker variant, meaning that it's an up-and-coming artist that drew this. Lucas Werneck, hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, drew this. I love Dazzler, but I love the disco version of Dazzler even better. That's a little bit more of my forte. I don't want to go any further in this video without saying a special hello if you're joining me from the Age of Dazzler Facebook group. I recently joined that group, maybe about a month and a half ago, and I haven't posted all that much on there, just a couple times. But if you're joining me from there because I did share this video on their Facebook page, welcome to you, and make sure to subscribe. If you're also new to my channel and came from a different source, if you would subscribe, that would be awesome. I love sharing my comic book hauls and collections with you, and my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, so your subscription definitely helps. Make sure to share this page, this video, this channel with someone that you think might be interested. It's a great way to show support, and give the video a thumbs up, a like, a heart, because that's another great way to show support to my channel as well. But the Age of Dazzler Facebook group has some fantastic people that have posted some great stuff, some stuff that I've never seen before, some great Dazzler cosplay. And when I've been looking for upcoming variants, I've been able to see the covers. It seems like I find the covers there first before I find them anywhere else, because it's just a nice group of people too. I don't join a lot of Facebook groups, and I don't participate, or I'm not as active a whole lot, but you guys on the Age of Dazzler Facebook page, you do a fantastic job. Everyone that posts and contributes does, and I enjoy going there, and I go there quite frequently. Another book that I have been chasing for quite some time is X Factor, Volume 4, Issue number 9. This is a David Nakayama cover, and I love this. This is from 2021. Of course, another great reason to do an All Dazzler video for this week is the fact that not only do we have that X-Men 130 facsimile coming out this week, there's also another David Nakayama Disco Dazzler variant that's out in comic shops this week. It's Rise of the Powers of X, issue number 4, the Foreshadow variant, which shows Disco Dazzler on stage, and that's a fantastic cover on that too. I made sure to get a pre-order on that too because I like it. But this David Nakayama cover is pretty awesome. The pose that Dazzler is in is very reminiscent to a Dark X-Men number 2 incentive variant that came out earlier this year. I think Carmen Cameo or Cameo was the artist on that 1 in 25 incentive. I haven't gotten that yet. I did make a couple bids on one on eBay, but it just ended up going a little higher than I was ready to spend. But hopefully sometime in the future, I'll be able to add that into my collection. But it's kind of a similar pose, just reversed, but with much more color on the cover. So this X Factor issue, I had issue 10, which kind of begins the death of Scarlet Witch, which leads into the trial of Magneto miniseries storyline. But this is the issue prior to that. And just a cool Dazzler cover. You don't see as many Dazzler covers as I would like. So when I do see one, especially the disco, I want to try to snap it up if I can. So now I'm up to something in the video that either maybe you've never seen. These next two things, either maybe you've never seen, or if you have seen, you probably can say that you don't see too often. If you don't know, I love foreign edition comic books, especially if they have different covers than what the US version was. And I found some Dazzler ones. I've got two to show you today. Let's get started. Both of these books come from France. What do you think about this? Look at this awesome Doctor Doom cover. So this is a French comic book called Titans, and it's issue number 37. So they started reprinting Dazzler in France under the Titans brand comic book logo with issue 35. So this is issue 37. It reprints Dazzler Volume 1, issue number 3. It also reprints Star Wars, issue 31, and Machine Man, issue number 1. And all the dialogue is in French. This was published in 1982. And just the fact that it had this different artwork, this was like the very first one when I started looking for Dazzler covers from that could be potentially different than US covers that I ever saw. And I'm like, oh, I got to have that someday. I got to have that. And I finally pulled the trigger on it, and I've wanted it for such a long time. These comic books are not a full-size comic book, but not smaller digest either. They're slightly smaller than a regular size comic book. And I had to put it in a Silver Age bag because it's just a touch wider as well. So Dazzler was on the cover like every 3 issues, and they would rotate with Star Wars or whatever other feature was being published inside the comic book at the time too. And I believe this is the first cover that she's on that reprints a Dazzler story. She was in some other covers, like her X-Men 130 appearance. She was on the cover of that, which was under a different title than Titans. It was under a title called Strange or Special Strange. Sometimes you see it listed under that. And there's 9 different comic books of the Dazzler series that have her on the cover. And I don't know if I'm going to chase all 9 or not, but I'm definitely interested. Incidentally, if I include other covers that are or other titles from France that she was featured on the cover, where it's reprinting like X-Men 130 or her appearance in Marvel Team Up that I was talking about, there's 3 more. So there's like a grand total of 12 covers I could chase. Let's show you, I just got to say one more time how cool this Doctor Doom cover is, but let's show you the other one that I picked up. This is Titans issue 55, also from France. So as I said, there's a grand total of 12 covers. Some of them are original art, as the last one, as this one is, and some of them, it's just an artist redrawing what the US cover looked like the issue that She-Hulk guest stars in. That's definitely the same cover, but it was redrawn. And the issue with Power Man and Iron Fist, that's definitely the same cover as the US. It's in the same style, but it was redrawn. But then there's some covers that are completely original. Angel is on the cover of 3 of the 9 that I mentioned, Dazzler comic books. He's on the cover of those. And I like this one with those 2 flying arm in arm and Spider-Man swinging below, kind of like, what? Wait, what's up? So I actually thought that Angel was a good love interest for Dazzler. And I know Angel takes a lot of flack, but hey, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Being pretty is a full-time job. In this comic book, it reprints Dazzler Volume 1, issue 21. It also reprints Star Wars issue 54 and Star Wars Annual issue number 1. This was published in 1983 over in France. Some of these comic books aren't the easiest to find. Condition-wise, I'm definitely not a condition snob because, I mean, these books are vintage. Plus, they have to get shipped all the way from France over here. So to expect a completely perfect, high gradable copy, and I'm not going to grade these, but I don't think that that's very realistic. I just tried to find the nicest condition that I can find. And some of these sellers don't even ship, to the United States or outside of their country. So, I take the best that I can get. I try to get them to fall within the price point that I need them to fall into to get them to fall into budget too. So I'm just lucky to have 2 of these. Hopefully in the future, you'll see more of these. I guess it's a soft chase at this point of what I'm looking for with the French Dazzler comic books. But I'd definitely love to get some more into the collection. Aren't these cool? I definitely want you to comment about these in the comment section below. Of course, your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Let's move on now to an AOK from my friend Michael Acri. Of course, Michael has AOK'd me in the past, and this poor AOK, this actually goes back a while. And I'll explain a little bit. You know what I'm just going to do? I'm just going to put you in fast forward mode really quick, open up this AOK, and I'll explain why this has kind of been sitting around for a while as I show you what's inside. Full disclosure, I know what is inside of here, and it's Dazzler. So hang tight, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so as you can probably tell, we have a healthy stack here today. So this AOK, I'm going to start by showing the first book, and then we'll talk some more about this. Okay, there we go, Dazzler number 1. You're probably saying, Ryan, I thought you just said you have all of the Dazzler comic books. I do have all of the Dazzler comic books. So this AOK goes back actually to last year. It was before the rumors of Taylor Swift playing Dazzler potentially in the Deadpool 3 movie started. So what was that, late summer or beginning of fall? Well, Michael's LCS, To Be Continued Comics in Crofton, Maryland. See, I know all of that from watching Michael's channel. They got a whole bunch of Disco Dazzlers, and the conditions were nice, so I said, why don't you pick me up an extra, because I would like to have an extra in my collection. And as we were talking, I said, pick me up more than one. So he did. And that's what this AOK is. He picked these up literally for $1 each. And I mean, you can't find them anymore for $1 each. But when I say that they had a lot, they had literally, like, at least from my understanding, like a long box or a long box and a half full of just this comic book. So I said, pick me up some. So he did, at the end of summer, early fall. He shipped them out to me kind of at the beginning of January. So I've been sitting for months on this box to open, which I just did right now, because I knew I wanted to include it in an all Dazzler haul. What am I going to do with multiple copies of this book? Well, I definitely wanted to have an upgraded copy for myself. But future copies, I wouldn't mind getting one signed. Ideally, if I could get one signed by JR or Jim Shooter or both on the same book, that would be pretty awesome to me. This was the first direct-only comic book that was ever made. So there are no newsstands of this because it was never sold in a newsstand. And of course, Marvel was smart by putting all of these guest stars galore, the people you see on the cover and more inside of this issue. It's the beginning of a 2-part issue that actually was kind of based on a movie, or at least an animated movie, if not a real action movie. And you can search to find out, about Bo Derek's potential involvement in a live action movie, or how they kind of decided maybe they had shifted into an animated movie. All of that's on the internet, and it's an interesting story, at least I think. But the book sold fantastic because never before had a comic book been sold direct market only. And plus, with all the guest stars too, it also made sense. Originally, Dazzler conceived as a concept between Marvel Comics, a movie studio, and a record label, because they wanted to have actual records come out that were billed as if it was Allison Blaire Dazzler singing. So you probably already know this if you're a long time Dazzler, Mutant, or Marvel or X-Men fan. You probably know this whole story. And I'm just happy to have the multiples. You know, I'm sure there'll be some that will be given away. There'll be some that'll be AOK'd, maybe some for a contest. It's just better to have them than and figure out what to do with them than to need them and not be able to have them. So Michael, I can't thank you enough for picking up these books for me. I put a link to Michael Acri's YouTube channel in the description for this video, so make sure to sub him up as well. I know that he's not far from 1,000 subscribers too, and I know he would appreciate it. He shows some great stuff on his YouTube channel. One more. So all in all, what I have today are 10 copies. 10 additional copies plus the 2 I already had in my collection. So a big question might persist, because what I was going to do originally, why I wanted 10 copies, I was going to do a video to see how many of these would be error variants and non-error variants. If you don't know, Dazzler 1 has an error variant and a non-error variant. In the house ads on the original, they printed the house ads, which includes a Dazzler house ad, in black and white. And then they kind of realized the mistake and corrected that and printed the future ones in color. I think the error version is much easier to find than the non-error version is. And I have one of both in my collection, as you've seen by what I just shared on screen with you. So originally my concept was I was going to do something called the Dazzler Challenge and open these up randomly and find out what, you know, are they error, are they non-error? But I accidentally found out before Michael ever sent the books, just from watching his channel, they're all error copies, which is what I expect, because I think that's much more common than the non-error copies. So if you're wondering, they're all error copies. And I'm still good with that as well. You're definitely going to be seeing more Dazzler comic books in the future in my comic book editions video. As for now, what was your favorite out of what I showed today? Do you have any of these books? Are you chasing any of these books? What do you think about Dazzler? What Dazzler books do you have? What Dazzler books are you chasing? All of that and more can be dialogued in the comments section below. As I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would certainly appreciate that. Sharing the channel in the video. That's another great way to show support, as I already previously mentioned. Let me tell you about what's going on with my channel right now. I have my back issue of the week YouTube short that dropped yesterday morning. It's kind of a tribute to Trina Robbins and a Wonder Woman miniseries that she worked on in between Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Wonder Woman. So it's 60 seconds to learn about that. It's already on my YouTube channel for you to check out. I had the Dazzler video today. It's kind of cool to have Wonder Woman and Dazzler featured on the same week because my birthday is coming up later this week. And for the final time, one more plug, a subscription to my channel is a great birthday present. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. My birthday's coming up this week, so it's awesome to feature my 2 favorite characters in themed videos on my channel this week. We have Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Sunday night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, with Signature King Tony Fett and Comic Fu 2814 joining us. It will be Comic Fu 2814's pick for the Retro Review, so join us for that this upcoming weekend. Thanks for discoing on out with me in this Comic Book Editions Volume 189 video. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to hanging out with you again soon. Take care.